It is Tuesday, everybody. Here's what's coming up tonight on Now. Everybody has seen that video of the dog in a doggy daycare place that was getting abused. Well, we talked to the owner today to get her side of the story. You're going to want to hear it.
And Oxford County leaders say they want their sheriff out. They're asking for help from Governor LePage.
Also, little Jacob Thompson, who obviously passed away a few weeks ago. His mom is now taking those thousands of toys that he collected, and she is starting to give them out to all kinds of other kids.
This is News Center now.
It's all untrue and mean. So it's scary because this is my business. It's my whole world.
The owner of a Brunswick doggy daycare that has come under Facebook fire is sharing her side of the story. Hello everybody, I'm Lee Goldberg.
And I'm Amanda Hill. By now you have seen the video either on our show or on Facebook. It shows a doggy daycare worker smacking a husky, and it has tens of thousands of people very upset.
So the employee has been fired, but that hasn't stopped people from calling and texting and threatening the owner of Blue Dog Daycare in Brunswick. Christina Rex is here now, and you spoke with her today.
Yeah, guys, I did. And Megan Osborne was nervous. She was fidgety, and she made sure her newly hired attorney was present for our interview. She describes these last 5 days as the worst of her life.
Just disbelief. I didn't know what to think.
That's how Megan Osborne says she felt when she saw this video for the first time at 5:30 in the morning on Wednesday, November 29th. She says someone sent her the video on Facebook with a threatening message.
Anger that someone did it and then posted it to their private Snapchat. That it was unacceptable.
Osborne says she sent the longtime employee home immediately and fired him the following day. But that wasn't enough for the Facebook world, who continued to criticize and even threaten the ex-employee, Megan, and Blue Dog Daycare.
I've been terrified. Terrified. I've gotten emails, random phone calls, we don't even answer the phone now at this point, from unknown phone numbers from even around like the country.
One critique was about timing. Several people believe Megan only fired the employee because the video went massively viral. She says she just needed a day to investigate before firing him, and that she would have done the same had she witnessed the harassment of the dog in person.
Termination.
So that's fireable in any situation, even without a video being posted?
Yes.
Have you ever had employees who have mistreated dogs before?
No, absolutely not.
Osborne says the controversy hasn't affected business at all. In fact, the dog in the viral video was back at daycare on Tuesday.
This is my business that I've started and grown, and we all love dogs. Safety is our #1 priority, and having them have fun here. I know the customers know that.
Still, Osborne says changes will be made. She's making sure her employees understand the code of conduct. She says she's scared by the power of social media.
People they like to listen and contribute to negative stuff, negativity.
Megan says she's also considering putting cameras inside the daycare so that people would be able to watch their dogs from home.
Okay. Thanks, Christina. Oxford County leaders want to take their sheriff out of office. The county commissioners voted today to issue a complaint to Governor LePage asking that Sheriff Wayne Gallant be removed. This comes after lewd photos were leaked and at least 2 complaints of sexual misconduct were filed against Sheriff Gallant. Much more on this coming up on News Center at 5:30.
Russia will not be represented in the 2018 Olympic Games. The International Olympic Committee announced today that Russia has been banned after an investigation of Russian athlete doping. The IOC says there is proof of systematic state-sponsored doping, but Russians can compete as neutral athletes.
All right, it's a pretty messy commute home right now, but the real story will come later tonight when the winds pick up.
All right, Casey, how bad will it get?
The winds are actually kind of a big story tonight. Certainly it is messy, and it's going to be that way through the rest of tonight, the last of the snow being scoured out. And the rain, relatively light to moderate, will get picked up here later this evening with this band out towards Albany and moving into Rutland. And again, the last of the snow moves out towards Presque Isle, where they have seen snow now for several hours. Let's watch the winds, though. Right now, they're already 25 miles an hour in Portland, 24 in Caribou, 23 in Portsmouth. But as we head till around 10, 11 and into midnight and thereafter, the winds are going to significantly increase here as this storm pulls on through. And just take a look at this hour-by-hour forecast. And I matched this with some of the other computer model forecasts, and they're very similar in their scale and in the numbers they're spitting out, which is 45 to 50 mile an hour wind gusts, not sustained, but gusts here. This is 11 o'clock tonight in Portland, Rockland 44, and probably the maximum wind will be over the northern mid-coast into down East Maine early tomorrow morning and late tonight. Wind gusts there, guys, could be 50 to 52 miles an hour. Should be just shy of widespread damage, but I do expect we'll see some power outages.
All right, Keith, thank you very much, sir. An update tonight to a story that we continue to follow for you.
Yeah, the legacy left behind by that 9-year-old cancer patient still holding strong. Today, Jacob Thompson's family donated more than a dozen boxes filled with toys to the Barbara Bush Children's Hospital. Jacob was battling a rare form of cancer. He passed away in November. During his final weeks, though, he received letters and toys from all over the world, helping his family celebrate one final Christmas together. Jacob's family has also donated 36 boxes of toys he had received to Toys for Tots.
And since his passing, we wanted to pay that forward and live like a penguin, which also includes sticking together. And this is part of the sticking together, is giving back to the community and giving back to others that are in need. I think Jacob would want nothing more than for all the other kids to have a piece of this.
Now, Jacob's mom, Michelle, says toys were donated from all over the world, countries like Portugal and Kenya. As for all those letters that Jacob got in the mail, she says some plans are in the works to repurpose them for some art projects with the New England Aquarium or at the Portland Children's Museum. Almost 230,000 cards came in.
Holy cow, amazing.
Yeah, pretty cool. Yep.
All right, he is the first political leader to resign amid accusations of sexual misconduct. Meanwhile, the entertainment industry is taking swift action. That story coming up.
And a series of protests the last few days after calling the tax plan vote. But what do pickets and chants actually accomplish? We have an expert weigh in later on Now.
I am retiring today. And I want everyone to know how much I appreciate the support.
Weeks after sexual misconduct allegations were made public, Representative John Conyers bows to pressure and resigns his congressional seat. Calls for resignation came from both sides of the aisle, but Conyers maintained that the accusations of harassment were false. He still denies the charges, but today said he was retiring and he is endorsing his son, who apparently plans to campaign as his father's replacement.
Now, this decision was weeks in the making, but the film and television industry is much quicker to cut its losses.
Yeah, Katie Ortiz here now with more on that.
Absolutely. Sexual harassment allegations impacts yet another Netflix original series. Netflix fires Danny Masterson over rape accusations. Masterson starred in The Ranch alongside Ashton Kutcher since it debuted in 2016, and he was also executive producer. The 41-year-old actor is better known as Hyde in That 70s Show, also starring Ashton Kutcher. 4 women have accused Masterson of rape, and officials in Los Angeles are investigating those allegations. Netflix announced his last day was yesterday, and they will write him off the show and will resume production without him next year. Masterson calls the allegations outrageous and blames the current climate in Hollywood for his firing. In a statement, he says, in part, "I am obviously very disappointed in Netflix's decision. Law enforcement investigated those claims more than 15 years ago and determined them to be without merit. In this country, you are presumed innocent until proven guilty. However, in the current climate, it seems as if you are presumed guilty the moment you are accused. I understand and look forward to clearing my name once and for all." Meanwhile, House of Cards is also set to resume production early next year with Robin Wright, in the spotlight. Kevin Spacey, of course, was booted off the show also over a slew of sexual harassment and assault allegations. His character, Frank Underwood, will also be written off. Wright plays his wife, Claire. So A lot going on in
Yeah.
the Netflix world. Lots of series and all those changes.
Making some decisions there.
Yeah,
all right,
absolutely.
thanks, Katie. Two victories for President Trump's agenda in the past week: tax reform and the travel ban. Both inspired protests when announced, but do protests work? We explore that next.
And how long before the wet turns to white? We'll talk to Keith coming up.
Despite reports that Speaker of the House Paul Ryan is not on board with the health care deal, Susan Collins' spokesperson says they are confident leaders will follow through on their promises. Senator Collins says Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell committed to supporting two of her health care proposals before she announced she would vote yes on tax reform. Today, The Hill is reporting that Speaker Ryan didn't know anything about that deal and he doesn't have the votes to get those bills through. But Collins' spokesperson told News Center's Pat Callahan they are confident that the agreements made during tax bill negotiations will be honored. And coming up at 5:30 and 6 o'clock, Pat reports from Washington about the concerns that Senators Collins and King have about future efforts by Russia to disrupt American elections.
Kill the bill! Kill the bill! 5 protesters were arrested in Bangor last night after they refused to leave Senator Collins' local office. They gathered to protest the Republican senator's support of the tax reform bill. When security asked them to leave, one person left, but 5 remained. They were taken to the Penobscot County Jail. Some of you blasted the protests online, asking if these people have jobs to go to and wondering if the sit-in was just a waste of time.
So why do people protest? What makes for an effective demonstration? Well, we talked to David House today. He's an associate professor of history at Husson University. He has studied acts of protest throughout U.S. history. Now, House says protesting is one of the most American things people can do because this country was founded on protests. He favors those that are peaceful, mentioning marches and sit-ins during the civil rights era and how effective they were in shaping public opinion and policy change. And while it may seem recent protests may not bring change right away, House says they often spark the conversation that eventually brings about change.
I'd like to think that protesting can be quite effective. Ultimately, it depends on strategy. But I think that protesting can also be quite effective it depends on what the goal is. If the goal is to get a message across to people in politics or to certain office holders, then continued regular protest is often effective at making that point. How well it sways that opinion or sways public opinion sometimes, that takes a lot longer.
And thousands of people turned out to protest President Trump's travel ban, which can now go into full effect thanks to a ruling by the Supreme Court.
That means the administration can fully enforce its new restrictions on travel from 8 nations. 6 of them are majority Muslim. Chris Costa joins us now. And Chris, there are a lot of people who live in Maine now who have families in these countries.
Yeah, Lee and Amanda, we have a lot of immigrants in Maine, many from Somalia and the Middle East. Technically, though, this process is not over yet as appeals courts consider if this latest version of the ban is lawful. This version of the ban allows travel restrictions on citizens from the 8 targeted countries, even if they have personal relationships with someone in America. The countries include Somalia, Chad, Libya, Iran, Syria, Yemen, North Korea, and Venezuela. The ban can go into effect while those challenges continue to be heard in lower federal courts. Now, for more than 16 months, we've covered these proposals and executive orders on the travel ban, hearing from new Mainers who sought refuge from their home countries and are waiting for family members to join them here, who now may not be able to do so.
Families will be dismantled. Families will not be together again.
You see, like, people die in front of you, people get killed, women get raped, people are sick from disease, people are really in tears.
We came here because we believe that this is the most safest place in the world. And for this to be happening here, now we don't know where to go.
People are coming to your home and telling you, get out of here or you die. You don't have the time to gather supplies for your travel. You just go. We left our elderly people on the way. We just leave them for the hyenas and lions to eat them.
Our family, some of them in home are sick, and they cannot come to see better care because of the visa restriction.
The last time I saw this was when I left Africa.
I feel very sad and think most of the time of my kids, and I'm living on the dream that I will be reunited with them. Now this is happening. People are running away from death, and it is you telling them Don't come here, choose death and die there.
You know, I tell her, you know, that everything will be okay, you know.
Now, this topic got many of you talking on social media. Joe says this is good. He says it's about what's best for the U.S., not non-citizens. Michelle agrees, saying more restrictions are needed. Mark, though, is on the other side and says he's disappointed in the Supreme Court's decision. And another Mark Holbrook, who's running for Congress against Shelley Pingree, says win one for our national security. He believes there are challenges ahead for this ruling, but feels optimistic. Meanwhile, the ACLU of Maine says to Muslims in the U.S., to those kept apart from loved ones by the ban, and to everyone who cherishes religious equality, we stand with you. The National ACLU plans to argue at the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals on Friday that the ban should ultimately be struck down. Leah and Amanda.
All right, Coco, thank you very much. And it's a great topic. It's so much passion and great opinions. We thank everybody for sharing their opinions with us on Facebook. And that's what this show is all about, is going back and forth with some healthy, respectful opinions. And you guys are great with that. So good job.
Meanwhile,
you got to do that. And I was just saying to Amanda during the story, you got to, protesting is, it's what we're about.
Sure.
Right? As long as nobody hurts anybody, I think we should be. It's crazy. You go on Facebook sometimes, people are like, what are they doing protesting? Like, America.
Yeah.
Isn't that what we do?
You and I agree on nothing, but we can be peaceful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's about. In the meantime, we do have quite a bit of weather. We have wind tonight, some snow after that, all kinds of stuff going on. Heavy rain in spots moving in now into southern Vermont and into parts of eastern New York State as well. And the snow hung on a little bit longer over northern Maine, still going on there. This is the batch of moisture that will be in here tonight. Most of the heaviest rain will occur and the heaviest winds when a lot of us are either about to go to bed or sleeping late tonight, early tomorrow morning. Wind gusts now 25 miles an hour in Portland, 21 in Augusta, and 23 in Portsmouth. They will ramp up though quickly and in a short duration late tonight, early tomorrow morning. They will gust 45 to 50 miles an hour. And here we are, 9-10 o'clock, 43 miles an hour in Portland, and all these numbers agree with the general model consensus. So it isn't just one model doing this. Later tonight, I think the mid-coast and down east Maine could get up to 50 miles an hour in a wind gust. Should be just short of enough to do damage, but I do think we'll see some limbs come down and some scattered power outages with this. Storm moves out though by early tomorrow morning, and we should clear out by mid-morning at the latest, and the rest of tomorrow afternoon is actually nice, and then Thursday and Friday are relatively quiet days. Nothing amazing, but quiet enough, and temperatures around average for this time of the year. Still several chances of snow. We're watching one still on Saturday. I think that will be a brush by with some light snow along the coastline, and then another disturbance comes in Tuesday with some snow squalls before yet another storm is possible for next Wednesday. A lot of chances, so I made this graph that's somewhat unprofessional, but should help to some degree. What storm should you care about? Saturday, a little bit. Next Tuesday, I'm not impressed. Next Wednesday, I am the most impressed by the concept of it, so we'll keep an eye on that. Obviously, we're a while away still. I don't think the weekend is going to be cancel your plans kind of deal regardless. It's just going to be how much does that snow shield move inland? Is it just coastal light snow? If we shift 50 to 100 miles, that's going to make a big difference, and we're only here on Tuesday. Here's a nice piece of news I put out on Twitter. This week is the earliest sunsets that you will have of the winter. It's not the shortest day because the sunrise will keep getting a little bit later until we get to the solstice, but this is the earliest the sun will set this week. It pegs and then starts going back in the right direction after that.
That's good.
Don't sell yourself short. Matt is scientific.
I also think that's the most informative graphic you've ever made.
I have bought into math, so don't sell that one short.
All right, I'm glad you
I think we all understand what that means.
Perfect.
All right. Thanks, Keith. This time of year, thieves don't have to break into your home to steal from you.
Yeah, with all the holiday presents that are being delivered to your doorstep, it really is Christmas for porch pirates. So one family in Knoxville, Tennessee set up a rather unorthodox alarm system.
Out in the open, no gate. This package is almost inviting a thief to take it off the porch.
What a terrible thing to do to anyone at Christmas.
But every holiday season, it happens. InsuranceQuotes.com finds package thefts are up from $23.5 million in 2015 to $25.9 million in 2016.
It's everywhere. Yeah. You know, it's not just here, it's everywhere in the United States. Everyone goes through this.
Sam Tobin and Bonnie Saul don't want to be the next victim. They decided to place a prank on the next porch pirate.
What we decided was to take the dog's poop, put it in the empty Amazon box and put it on the front porch and leave a gift that they will never forget.
The gift, signed Merry Christmas from Odin, a boxer mix.
I was sitting on the couch all day. I was hoping to catch somebody.
While Sam and Bonnie hope their method will deter thieves from their porch, main companies like FedEx and Amazon have come up with ways to ensure packages get to the right home. If you are shipping with FedEx, you can have your package delivered to a local Walgreens for pickup. And according to Amazon's website, there's a lockbox inside Knoxville's Whole Foods where customers can pick up their packages. But Sam and Bonnie say the old-fashioned way works well too.
We tell our neighbors when we're expecting a package, ask them if they keep an eye out. If they see it sitting on the front porch, they'll grab it for us.
They hope this holiday season thieves will look the other way, especially if they know what's really inside.
And just so you know, there is an Amazon lockbox at the Portland Whole Foods location as well.
In case you were wondering.
Just in case.
All right, Cindy Williams is here with a look at what's coming up at 5:30. Hey, Cindy.
Hey, guys. Yeah, we've got the latest from Oxford County, where the commissioners are trying to get the sheriff removed from office over new allegations of sexual misconduct. We've got the details coming up. And decisions made in Washington could have a huge impact on Maine's lobstermen. We'll explain all those stories and more coming up in the next half hour. Back to you.
All right, Cindy, thank you very much. News Center now continues after the break. All right, get ready for the Yeti.
All right, see, I knew you'd have something. This is interesting. The Yeti, or as Amanda, it's the abominable
snowman.
It's the same thing, apparently. So this, you know, it's one of those. It's not an urban legend because it doesn't happen in urban places, but in the Himalayas, for generations they've been saying they've seen this, including some famous hikers who have gone up Everest and claim they see tracks and whatnot. So they've tried to figure out this mystery for a long time. They went back and they took 9 Yeti artifacts, so everything from a bone that was claimed to be a Yeti to some hair that was claimed to be part of the Yeti, and they tested it. And maybe not surprisingly, they attributed it to animals, but none of which were animals they've never heard of. One of them was a dog, which is interesting. This is a footprint, by the way, from the 50s, supposedly, of this Yeti. But do you have any guesses on what the main thrust animal it was they found?
Oh.
I'm going to go with a polar bear. Just trying to think of winter.
They were all bears. There was 3 different kinds of bears.
Pretty good.
I was thinking bear. Good
Asian black bear, Himalayan brown bear, and the Tibetan brown bear. Which, if you have a picture real quick, it's snowing. It snows. The weather's extreme in the Himalayas. You don't have visibility. This guy's covered with snow. Maybe he rears up for something. You can see how this could happen. Part of me wants this to still be a thing, though. Like Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Like I want someone to finally catch
You're holding
Bigfoot.
On. Holding on.
Oh,
all right.
With cell phones these days.
News Center at 5:36 right now.